Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 637 of Screw the Commute podcast. I have a repeat guest here because he does really great things for people, and he's a great guest, and known him for a long time. His name is Jeff Herring, and he's a really prolific content creator, and got a great new podcast coming up too. We're going to talk about. It's coming up very soon, I think in a week or so. So we'll tell you about the details on that, because you do not want to miss that, because he has helped thousands of people create, I would say hundreds of thousands of pieces of content that promote their business. So we'll get him on in a minute. All right, let's see. A quick update on our program to get scholarships for persons with disabilities. And one of the people has already started a website to help other people with disabilities. And another is totally revamping her husband's construction website. And first of all, those first two people are blind, right? And they're shooting better videos than I do. And the third is the school teachers. Now that school's out, she's making rapid progress in her studies in the school. So check it out. Anything you can do to help out was great. At screwthecommute.com/disability, you can click over to the GoFundMe campaign and see their videos on what they're doing. And they're really inspirational. Love for you to help us out on that. All right, let's bring on the main event. Jeff Herring helps you take your content, articles, blog posts, videos, and turn them into profitable digital courses. Content creators become content profiters, and you don't have to have any experience to do this. If you just have a brain, you can get this stuff out of it into a saleable format. In addition to being the host of the Content Profit Show, Jeff is also the father of two sons, John and Caleb, the father-in-law of Caroline, and a new Pops. I guess that's a grandpa to Bodie. And he's the wrangler of Duke, a German Shepherd Husky Wolf combo. And 4 out of 5 of these folks are housebroken. You can decide which ones are. And Jeff, are you ready to screw?
Let's do it, Tom.
What's up, man? You've been
637 podcasts, dude. You're killing it.
Yeah, that was just this week. Next week I'm gonna hit 1,200.
Blacker.
Yeah.
I remember I was number 5. So this is, where I went to school. That's 632 episodes later.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's. I wanted to have you on sooner, but I want to have you on every 600 episodes or so.
That'll work. Actually, we did do one in between.
Yeah, we did. I don't remember what number it is.
Happy to be here, man.
You got a whole new thing going where you're technically a digital nomad now, right?
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, is just sell or give away most of my stuff and do something like that. And I did this in late April, and have been doing it, for several months now, and doing it all through the North Georgia mountains, which are just beautiful, with waterfalls and hikes and Appalachian Trail and stuff. And Duke comes along with me, and I brought a whole group of my students, there digitally for something we did this summer, and it's just a kick. I could get used to this lifestyle.
Well, what's the coolest place you've stayed in?
Oh, what a great question. Several cool places, but I'll tell you the wildest story. There's a place called Helen, Georgia, that is kind of like a German.
Is that HELL space NIN
yeah,
Georgia?
Hell in Georgia.
Yeah.
That's the summer temperature.
It's the politics.
Exactly. Oh yeah, there you go. I like that. It's modeled after like a German town. They have Oktoberfest and all that kind of stuff.
You have to wear lederhosen.
Yeah, exactly. All that lederhosen and stuff all over the place. They have shops for it, actually. Anyway, I was staying there this summer, and the night before, I'd walked to the edge of this hill we were on to take pictures of the sun setting over the town. And so the next night, I went out to do the same thing. Okay, had a very different result. Tom, I turned around, and 10 feet in front of me was a 500 or 600 pound black bear. walking diagonally towards me, and my whole body froze, including my breathing. I wanted to take a picture, but it was like, I'm not moving.
You're supposed to
Um,
run at them and jump on their back. That scares them, and then they run away. Don't follow that
I'll
advice.
remember that next
Don't
time.
follow that.
And and as he turned to go, off into the woods, he looked at me, and I thought, is this how I die? And he was between me and the cabin I was in. The owner's cabin was to my left, and there's somebody in the kitchen window washing dishes. I'm thinking, if I scream loud enough, maybe I'll be able to make it to the front door. But he just lumbered on by, and I finally got some pictures.
See,
And then
I
the,
thought
the
you were
owner
going to
said,
say,
"Oh,
I thought you were going to say he said to you, "Hey, I want to talk to you about your auto insurance."
want to talk about your
Extended
name?
warranty,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
which you
yeah,
need one if I eat you.
exactly. And that could have. I was really glad I didn't have Duke with me. And
Oh,
and some
yeah.
people told me that, yeah, there'd have been a fight and Duke would have lost, and I'm not going to interrupt that.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
geez.
I love
Yeah.
him. Other people have said there's no way the bear would have come near.
I
With
think
Duke.
that's true because black bear is not a grizzly bear. That's different.
Right,
It's not
right.
a polar bear either, because
Yeah,
they will
yeah,
eat you, kill you, and then smoke a cigar. But
exactly. And it
black bears
wasn't
don't.
Bigfoot because there's a few of those sightings up here too.
What's that? Bigfoot.
And it
Oh,
wasn't
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot
Yeah,
either
yeah.
because there's
Well,
a few of those sightings up here.
I remember that commercial with Bigfoot where his name's really Daryl.
Yes. There's my brother Daryl and my
Yeah,
other brother
yeah.
Daryl.
So you're traveling around the country now. So you're doing the same stuff you were doing when you were at home, or just you got a new program coming, or what?
Some similar, some new. First of the year, I started playing with a new idea that had always been in my mind, and I'll explain that in a minute. But helping my members, my students, take their articles and flip them, repurpose them, whatever word you want to use, into a variety of information products. And people really reacted well to that. So what I did is I paired the digital nomad stuff with something I called the Summer of Profit. It's now called Content Profit Explosion. And I just invited everybody that wanted to come on the summer tour with me, and I would take pictures of things and videos of waterfalls, and wish I could have got a better picture of the bear. Um, and so my concern, Tom, was when I started that, it's a summer long thing, 12 weeks, are people going to drop out? Are they going to want refunds or whatever? And the opposite happened. The membership doubled during the summer. And we took it from how to create a profitable article, how to make Medium your traffic and list building site, ebooks, mini classes, master classes, mini course, signature course, masterminds, mentor programs, what else? Memberships, and through it, I was able to create like 6 or 7 products, but people were loving it. People have been taking action, and people are wanting another version in September. And so that was proof enough of concept to me to start this podcast, the Content Profit Show. And what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 shows a week. Monday will be, I'll have a student on, and they'll bring an article and a good dad joke to the podcast. And we'll repurpose their article into a digital product and even offer it on that show.
Right on the
And
show.
then, yeah, right on the
No
show. And
kidding.
then promote the heck out of it. We're going to do live cast and podcast and promote it in articles, videos, automated webinars. And then on Thursday, I will do a 3-week cycle of either an interview or a training or another one of those article to product. And that that first Thursday, I've got this guest that
Oh, I
you
heard
may
you've got
know.
some superstar as a guest. Yeah.
Absolutely, this guy named Tom Antheon,
Oh man,
and
I love that guy. I love
he's a
that guy.
great guy because he's the only person I've ever learned from that every single thing he's suggested has worked. So
Yeah,
I owe him a
I
lot.
agree. That guy is awesome. to the nth degree. That people should definitely throw money at him, gold coins.
I
And
think
stuff.
so too.
Yeah,
And it was trained by him too.
yeah. So, so one thing I'm thinking about before we move forward is if
Yeah.
you want to get better pictures of that bear, you need to go out there and just start yelling, "Here, Smokey! Here, Smokey!" and have meat wrapped around your neck.
I was thinking
I
more
don't know.
like bacon.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Are bears carnivores or not? I don't know. They herbivores.
Some are. I know most of the. I think most of the black ones are not. But I mean,
Well,
if you
just
piss
just
them
hang
off
some
enough, I
hang
think.
some weed around you. You're bound to get somebody to come for a good picture.
Especially in a vacation town like that, and then around the city is places like Sleepy Hollow and other kind of crazy names where
Really?
it's mostly old hippies, selling pot. Yeah.
So let's take you back. So a lot of people, new listeners, don't know your story, but you had the dreaded, and um, I get like throw up in my mouth when I say the word job. You had a job. uh, so tell them how you came up through the ranks.
It was kind of a job and kind of not at the same time. I was a counseling psychologist in private practice, and so I was working for myself, but the only way I could make money was sitting in that chair nodding my head every day, right?
Yeah.
And so I started playing on the internet, trying to figure it out. And then I went to I was telling somebody this the other day. I went to a National Speakers Association meeting down in Orlando, and there was this crazy dude giving people gifts, but shooting them all out of a leaf blower, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
And but this guy, Tom, of course, he had down what I wanted to do. So I thought, all right, I'm going to learn from this guy. Eventually joined his mentor program, and things have taken off from there. And so it was funny, Tom, like 8 years after I left Tallahassee, Caleb and I were down there for a reunion in 2015. And I'm always looking for a way to describe, how I went from therapist to what I do now. And a lot of people down there knew me as a therapist. Excuse me. And they were asking me about it. And then one day I was walking back with Caleb in the group from a ball game, and it hit me that I traded. My slogan is, I traded my couch for a mouse.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, because how many? I mean, literally. I mean, I know you don't know exactly, but roughly, how many patients had you seen at that point?
You're talking about clients back in the day
Yeah,
or students now?
No, clients back in the day.
Oh gosh, I'd easily say 5 figures
Okay,
altogether.
and then
Part of that was because I ran an adolescent drug treatment program before that with a lot of people, and then I did a lot of groups in my practice. So yeah,
oh my
I've
God.
I've seen a lot of people.
All
But
right.
I mean, at the drug treatment center, I was sometimes the only adult there with 45 kids in a group, right? And so to be in a private practice and walk into a group with 8 kids, my colleagues are shaking their heads, but I'm thinking, this is cake, man.
Well, no, you did one-on-one though too, right?
Did one-on-one, did couples, and did adolescents and their
All
families, and
right.
then
So,
groups.
did you ever on a one-on-one fall asleep?
Tom, it was so close, and it would be on days when I went to either Sonny's or this Chinese buffet
Oh.
and ate too much, and came back from my afternoon clients, and it was getting ready to rain and dark, and it was close a few times, but I never had to use it, but I had a strategy for that if I ever fell asleep.
Yeah.
When I came back to, I was going to tell them, I'm trying out this new technique. I'm having these little mini dreams about how to solve your problems.
That's a good idea to have in your back pocket. Unless your head hit the floor when
Yeah, you
or your desk.
started drooling and twitching or something. The other thing from those days that really works here online is I've been doing groups since I was 13 years old. Um, in various situations and did them in
Group
practice.
sex, or what do you mean?
Well, back then it was group therapy, but
Oh, okay.
when I was 13, I did everything you could do wrong in 1971 except get somebody pregnant. And one Monday morning, I went to it was eighth grade, and my buddy Chuck, who I'd gotten high with the night before, comes up to me and says, "Right now, my mom's over your mom's house, telling your mom everything."
Oh,
I'm
gee.
like, "Oh, this is going to be fun when I go home." Um, so I was grounded for life and had to join the Boy Scouts, but became the youngest patrol group leader in Orlando up to that time. And ever since then, I've been doing groups in some form. And that way of being able to work with a group of people translates really well. Um, like not too long after I do this, I'm doing my Content Profit Nation group. And, a lot of people, as they come on board doing what we do, they get nervous with groups. And to me, it's like I said, I've been doing this for 51 years now.
Wow. So, when did all this prolific writing occur? Didn't you have like 1,200 articles out or something?
Yep. And this is the funny thing. The local paper, the Tallahassee Democrat, started having a mental health column. And the first three people wrote stuff like, what is depression? What is bipolar? What is anxiety? Like really exciting stuff, right? Um, and then the fourth person who was in my practice, drove me crazy, that got it because I applied and didn't get it. She went like Shirley MacLaine woo woo. And so when it came around again and I applied, got it, which was hilarious because I never finished my PhD in counseling psychology because my professors told me I couldn't write, and I believed them, right?
Hmm.
Um, about 3 years after I got started on this gig, Dr. Mary Hicks, one of the professors that told me I couldn't write, signed up for one of my content creation workshops, which was a pretty happy day.
That's beautiful.
Um, and so what I started doing was I noticed that the thing people didn't know how to do was create content, right? And that's how I got started here. But that weekly column for the newspaper, it showed two simple things. It showed my unique approach to problems and my unique solutions to problems. Okay. And it was supposed to be 6 months for a year. It went 10 years, got syndicated nationally and internationally. I had people flying in from New York to little old Tallahassee, Florida to do therapy with me.
Wow.
Um, and so, people told me for a while that I ought to teach that online. And I thought, well, yeah, but there's only so many newspapers, right? I don't want to, create competition for myself. And then the internet, changed from a fad, to something pretty cool. And so I started teaching content creation online. And, there were like a couple thousand articles that came from the column. And then one day a a teleseminar I was teaching, somebody told me about e-zine articles, and I'm like, oh man, I can fill them up. And so that kind of built my community, you know. And so I just started doing kind of the same stuff, helping people create content. And one of my favorite stories is this woman on a teleseminar. Remember those?
Hmm.
This woman was wed to the idea that she couldn't create content, couldn't write an article. And I tried every therapy trick I knew and it wasn't working. And I finally used the ultimate one. I gave up. Right. And then I just started asking her about her niche. I said, well, what are you into? What do you teach? What do you coach for? She told me, and I said, well, what's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're starting out in this? And she told me, and I wrote it down. And I said, well, what do you do instead? And she told me, and I wrote it down. And I did that two more times, for three mistakes. And I said, I just created the outline of your first article. And this is why tell people I made a woman cry on a teleseminar because she started crying, and has gone on to be a pretty prolific content creator. And so from the very beginning, Tom, and that kind of leads from then to now. One of the things I noticed is that people would go to create products and start over, completely over, and just stare at a blank screen forever. And what I noticed very early on in this, going back to like '07, is that you've started creating your product when you've written an article, a blog post, or created a video. You just need to bundle them together. That was my first ebook, was 5 articles on how to deal with difficult people. And it was titled because you taught me how to do this back in the beginning. It was titled "Beat the Bozos: How to Deal with Difficult People Without Becoming One Yourself." And one day I put it together, sent it out, and like 90 minutes later, I got that first $17 order, and
Mm.
the world changed for me. Um, but what I noticed is, just like I just said, you can either bundle your articles or expand on your article content to create products. So you're never staring at a blank screen when you create a product. In my model, you're taking something you've already created, and there's a site now called medium.com, maybe we can talk about later, that what I pay attention to is the articles that have got the best response, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
that have made the most money over there, that have got the most responses, the most likes, and that's what I turn into a program, a product. The summer of profit came from my most viewed article ever, which was 21 income streams from one article. And so you've already created the content. Medium helps you take the guesswork out, right? Because the audience has already voted, and then you can create, gosh, all kinds of products from there.
Now, anybody can do this. I think you've proven that because you had a dog that had its own blog.
BuddyTheInternetDog.com. He passed in April. Um, but yeah, he had his own blog. And it was funny, Tom, that you mentioned that. I was thinking about this interview. I was actually thinking of you when I was in the shower. And
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
and, I thought, but I mean, Duke, my current dog,
Yeah, Duke,
the
is he taking
Shepherd Husky,
over?
he needs a blog. I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna get Duke the Internet Dog and have him take over.
Oh, I thought he would take over the other one. Just
Well,
continue
no, I
it.
mean, I'll probably just change the.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I could do that, but got to change the name. So yeah, if a dog can do it, and if somebody that couldn't finish their PhD because they couldn't finish their dissertation could do it, and if the lady that I made cry can do it, listen, folks. Here's the thing: if you can write a 7-item grocery list, you can write a 7-tip article. Okay,
Oh
it's
God,
as simple as
I
that.
could write
And I've got
a thousand thing article because my grocery list is big.
well, yeah, there you go, especially dog food. And so really it's a matter of, I call it fill in the blanks. Remember Mad Libs?
Oh, I love those. Yeah, they're still
Yeah,
around.
me too. I still play them. And it's really like that. You fill in the blank to tell a story. And I've got, I don't know how many, I lost track of how many content profit templates I've got, where you just fill in the blanks to create articles, emails,
I still have them.
videos,
If I
product.
get stuck for a blog posting or something, I pull it out. Those
Thank
article
you. I
templates you
appreciate that.
made. How many you up to now on it? They still for
The
sale?
current version has there's 37 in there, but and most of them are articles, others are emails, videos,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm working on now is creating templates for everything from ebooks to master classes, mini courses, signature courses, mentor programs, masterminds, memberships. So even creating the products is going to be fill in the blank easy.
All right. So when a student comes to you, how do you start working with
Yep.
them? If it was a one-on-one student.
Okay. The first thing I would want to know is their niche. Okay. What they're into. And I would go over to Medium and do some research under that niche and find out all the articles that are written over there, the people that are doing it, and the publications they have over there, and the keywords that are used over there. Right. And so, I'd show them that, hey, you can dominate this space. You can be number one or at least in the top 10 in this space, get a lot of traffic, build your list, et cetera. And then I'd pull out probably the 3 mistakes template because it's the easiest
Mm-hmm.
one, and have them fill that one out and create an article. And they would create it, bring it back to me. We'd finish it together. And then we'd start talking about using it to get traffic to build their list, because every day I get new people on my list from Medium. And then we talk about, okay, which articles are doing the best over there. That's what will turn into a product, and then we decide whether it's an ebook or a masterclass or an e-course or a course or, a membership site.
I wrote that article a long time ago on it was actually like a transcript of a teleclass on how to sell your knowledge in 19 different ways. So you've like doubled that, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, you got me started and I've made a whole lot of more from that. But I remember where I was standing in my kitchen in my house in Tallahassee when I was listening to that teleseminar that
Hmm.
that ebook came from. This is back in like '05, '06, maybe even '04. But anyway, I asked you on that teleseminar, I said, Tom, what would happen if you did this with, or part of this with every one of your articles? And you said you'd get very well known very fast.
Hmm.
And so I did, and I did.
None of this is rocket science, folks. I mean,
It's not.
you just have to decide and then go do it. And none of it costs a lot of money either,
No,
to do
no.
this
And be
stuff.
super consistent with
Yeah,
it.
consistent
And
and persistent, just like
yeah,
637 episodes of a podcast.
yeah, I've
But
got something along those lines called CPR, Tom. It stands for consistent, persistent, and resistant.
yeah, and I have CSI, right?
Yeah, I'll let you
Crappy,
tell the
crappy,
punchline.
stupid idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't do
And
those.
I had some of those this summer with my students.
You're allowed
And I
to
told,
have them because if you don't have the crappy and stupid ones, you'll never find the ones that are great.
that's exactly right. And that's what I said this summer to a couple students that had a crappy, stupid idea. And I quoted you. I said, Tom Antion would say, you got a CSI. Um, and they were able to hear that and not pout. And we came up with a better idea.
Yeah, I mean, all ideas have to be molded into something that works. And when you get feedback from the people seeing the idea, do they like it? Do they not? Do they give you suggestions, or they say, "I wish it had this," or that's how it improves. You just very seldom is something a home run right off the bat.
Yeah, very seldom. And so what I tell people now is, like I say, if you can create a 7-item grocery list, not only can you create content, but you can turn that content into products, whatever your area of interest is. I mean, I know a woman that her whole niche, it's not corgi dogs, Tom. It's corgi dog paraphernalia.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
She's a
I didn't.
millionaire because of it. And they have a corgi dog paraphernalia conference every year.
Is this like corgis smoking dope? Is that what you're talking
I'm sure there's some things doing that, or
about?
doing a full frontal nudity scene or something. But, and if she can do it, come on, folks. I'm working with a friend down in Orlando now, who he can take you anywhere in Central Florida and you'll catch fish. And it's like, okay, let's turn that into something, man.
Well, yeah, you could go into the there's a place here that's Aquariums Unlimited. You could go in there. You can definitely catch fish. So
You
so
got to
tell
use the right bait or you'll get kicked out.
yeah. So tell them more about the show, when it's going to fire off, and how to find it, and all that stuff.
Okay. It's going to be at thecontentprofitshow.com. The Content
Is
Profit
it got
Show.
the word "the" in there? So it's the
No,
Content Profit Show, or it's contentprofitshow.com.
thecontentprofitshow.com.
Yeah, but you put the word "the" in front of it. Is that
Yeah,
actually in
I
the
thought you said
domain?
I thought you said dot. Yeah, it has the word the in it.
Okay,
Although,
thecontentprofitshow.com.
yeah, although Content Profit Show I have, and I'm going to forward to there. Again, something you taught me. And so it starts August 29th. And we'll start with a live cast, and that's going to be at 4 o'clock. And what we'll do on the first Monday show is, and every Monday I'll bring on a student, and all I have to bring to the podcast, the live cast, is a good dad joke and an article. And we'll turn that article into a product right there in front of everybody. And also have a way for the people to get an early discount on that article. Then it'll turn into a podcast, several articles, videos, and then automated webinars of that show, or other things of theirs. And once that product is completed, they'll come back and give me that link, and that'll also be in the show notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to get a lot of publicity through that, and there'll be a link on the site to apply to be a guest. And then on Thursdays at 4 o'clock, I'll do another live cast. It'll turn into a podcast, and that'll rotate 3-week cycle of an interview like I'm doing with you. Might as well start with the best, right? And then a training where I'll teach something, and then another one where I'll do another Monday show, taking an article and turning it into a product for someone. And I've done a couple of podcasts before, and just I didn't have a passion for it. It was too much like everything else. But this, man, this has got me super excited. I've seen the results this summer of people from that summer of content program. Summer of profit program. And I am super excited about this because, it's just different enough, like you taught me to, be different enough to be unique, right?
Well, what I'm confused about, and
Yeah,
I've been trying to find an answer to this for a long time. What exactly is a dad joke?
well, it's what's been phrased as, the phrase has come up with really stupid, corny jokes. Somebody came up with the dad joke name. Okay, so a dad joke can be any stupid, corny joke. I've even thought of doing a podcast like that. There's a group out there called We Got the Chocolates that do this. It's about 10,
But
20 to 30
they're like
year old.
X-rated, though, right?
Well, some of them are, but
Yeah.
like one we can tell on a family show like this is, how do you tell the difference between an oral and a rectal thermometer?
Oh.
The taste.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty risque, I would say.
Well, I wanted to push
dirty.
the envelope a little bit, but I've told you some we can't repeat here.
Oh, absolutely. So is this one of my favorites? Did you hear about the Barbie divorce doll?
No, tell me.
It comes with everything Ken had. Is that a dad joke?
That's a good dad joke. That's like Louis Grizzard was a columnist and an author down here out of Atlanta years ago, and he would come up with all these sayings. And one of them was, he said, "I'll never get married again. I'm just going to find a woman I hate and give her my house."
That's good. And I always say marriage is grand, but divorce is 200 grand.
Yeah. Tell me about it. But yeah, any kind of silly joke.
Okay.
Some of the basic ones that are, kid stuff are like, what did the ocean say to the shore? Nothing. It just waved.
Okay.
So you can get that bad, or you can get pretty bad.
Well, there's a really sad thing that just happened that I guess you could say it's funny, but the owner of IKEA passed away, and
here it comes.
Yeah, it was a shame because they had to delay the funeral because nobody could figure out how to put the casket together. and then everybody that wanted to attend the funeral couldn't figure out how to get out of the store.
That's right. It turned into a grave situation, right?
There you go. All right. So the Content Profit Show, it's rolling. What do they call the first episode of something? The premiere or the
premiere episode, or the inaugural premiere episode? Yeah. Premiere episode.
We'll have a great superstar guest that we all bow down to. I have to bow down to tie my shoes. Great coming on. Great catching up with you, man.
You too, always, Tom. Take good care, and thanks for the opportunity to be in front of your folks. And thanks
Duke's got to get his show going.
You know what? I decided that, like I said, when I was thinking about you in the shower, and I'm going to have to get. I'm going to hang up and buy Duke the Internet Dog.
Oh yeah, good, because you'll be able to do that before people hear this. So because everybody will want that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have said that if we were. Yeah.
All right, everybody. August 29th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. The Content Profit Show with Jeff Herring, and I will see you there myself. All right, catch you later, Jeff.
Take good care, man. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll catch everybody on the next episode. See you later.